Do you ever have one of those memories from childhood that just sticks with you? Not because it was fun or happy, but because it scared you so bad it carved itself into your brain? The kind of memory that makes you question what you saw, even years later? That's what this story is for me. My name's Thomas, and when I was 7 years old, something happened in the small town of Elma, Washington, that I'll never forget. It's been over 20 years, but I can still picture it like it happened yesterday. Let me take you back to 2002. I was just a scrawny kid living in Elma, a quiet, rural town surrounded by dense forests and misty fields. It's the kind of place where everyone knows everyone, and the biggest excitement is the annual county fair. My best friend at the time was Chase. He was a wiry kid with messy brown hair and a grin that made you think he was always up to something. We were inseparable back then, always riding our bikes or exploring the creeks near our houses. One Friday, Chase invited me to his place after school. He lived on the outskirts of town, in a house tucked away at the edge of a thick forest. It was a bit of a trek, but I was excited. Chase had been talking all week about how his dad was planning to build him a treehouse, and I couldn't wait to see it. That afternoon, we climbed onto the school bus together, the kind with cracked vinyl seats that smelled like old gum and diesel. The ride to Chase's house felt longer than usual. The bus wound through narrow roads, past sagging barns and fields of tall grass swaying in the wind. The other kids got off one by one until it was just me, Chase, and the driver. I remember staring out the window, watching the trees get denser, their branches clawing at the sky like skeletal hands. Chase was practically bouncing in his seat, rambling about the treehouse. My dad says it's going to be huge, like 2 stories with a rope ladder and everything. I grinned, imagining us having our own secret hideout in the woods. When the bus finally stopped at the end of a gravel road, we hopped off, waving to the driver as he pulled away. Chase's house was a newer 2-story home with a wide wraparound porch. The yard stretched out toward a wall of towering evergreens, so thick you could barely see more than a few feet into the forest. The air was heavy with the smell of pine and damp earth, and there was this quiet. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that makes your skin prickle like the world's holding its breath. As we dropped our backpacks by the front door, Chase grabbed my arm. "Come on, let's see if my dad started on the treehouse yet." Before I could say anything, he was sprinting toward the backyard. I followed, my sneakers slipping on the wet grass. That's when I heard it, a low, guttural roar echoing from the woods. A chainsaw. My heart leapt. "Is that your dad?" I asked, trying to keep up. Chase nodded, his eyes wide with excitement. "Gotta be. He said he'd start cutting wood today." We ran past the house, through the backyard, and toward the tree line. The chainsaw's buzz grew louder, more jagged, like it was chewing through something tough. The forest loomed ahead, dark and tangled, the kind of place you'd expect to find in a fairy tale where kids don't come back. But Chase was fearless, crashing through the underbrush, and I didn't want to look like a coward, so I followed. The deeper we went, the colder it got. The air felt heavy, like it was pressing down on us. The chainsaw's noise was deafening now, vibrating in my chest. We pushed through a cluster of ferns, and that's when we saw it. A figure standing maybe 30 feet away, half hidden in the shadows of the trees. It was tall, too tall, like it didn't quite fit with the world around it. The chainsaw was in its hands, revving wildly, spitting sawdust into the air. But something was wrong. The figure wasn't moving like a person cutting wood. It was just standing there, its head tilted at an unnatural angle, like it was listening. It turned, and that's when I saw its eyes. 2 glowing red points, burning through the dim light like embers in a fire. They weren't human. They weren't anything I'd ever seen before. Chase froze beside me, his breath hitching. I wanted to scream, but my throat felt like it was glued shut. The figure's head snapped toward us, those red eyes locking onto us like they could see right through our souls. The chainsaw roared louder, like it was angry, and the figure took a step forward. Its silhouette was wrong. Too thin, too jagged, like it was made of broken branches instead of flesh. Chase grabbed my arm so hard it hurt and yelled, "Run!" We turned and bolted, branches snapping at our faces, roots tripping us as we stumbled through the woods. The chainsaw's roar chased us, getting closer, louder, like it was right behind us. I could hear my heartbeat pounding in my ears, my lungs burning as we ran. I don't know how long we ran. It felt like forever, but we finally burst out of the trees and into Chase's backyard, collapsing onto the grass. That's when we saw him. Chase's dad, standing on the back porch holding a mug of coffee. He looked confused, maybe a little annoyed. "What the hell are you boys doing out there?" he asked, his voice calm but sharp. "You know you're not supposed to go into the woods." Chase was gasping, tears streaming down his face. "Dad, there's someone out there with a chainsaw. He had red eyes." His dad frowned, setting his mug down. "Red eyes? What are you talking about? I haven't even started on the treehouse yet. My chainsaw's in the garage." My stomach dropped. If Chase's dad hadn't been in the woods, then who or what had we seen? I looked back at the tree line, half expecting to see those red eyes staring back at us. The forest was silent now. No chainsaw, no birds, nothing. Just that heavy, unnatural quiet. Chase's dad marched us inside, muttering about kids and their imaginations, but I could tell he was rattled. We ran inside, locked the back door, and kept glancing out the window. That night, I stayed over at Chase's house. His mom made us dinner, and his dad tried to act like everything was fine, but I noticed he kept the curtains drawn and checked the locks twice. Chase and I didn't talk much. We just sat in his room, listening to every creak of the house, every rustle of the wind outside. Around midnight, I woke up to a faint sound, a low, grinding buzz, like a chainsaw idling in the distance. I sat up in my sleeping bag, my heart racing. Chase was already awake, staring at the window. "You hear that?" he whispered. I nodded, too scared to speak. We crept to the window and peeked through the upstairs blinds. The backyard was pitch black, but there, at the edge of the woods, I swear I saw them again. Those glowing red eyes, flickering like dying coals. They were watching us. The chainsaw's buzz grew quieter, then stopped, leaving the night silent again. The next morning, Chase's dad went out to check the woods. He came back pale, saying he found a few trees had been cut down entirely, like someone had been hacking at it with a chainsaw. But his own chainsaw was still in the garage, untouched, the gas tank bone dry. I saw the look of concern in Chase's dad's eyes as he made calls to the local neighbors. In the end, they all confirmed they didn't go near the property. After that day, things changed. Chase stopped talking about the treehouse. His dad never built it. They moved away the next summer, and I lost touch with him. I tried to forget what happened, to tell myself we just imagined it, but I couldn't shake the image of those red eyes. Years later, as an adult, I looked into Elma's history, trying to make sense of it. I found old news stories about missing loggers in the 80s, people who vanished in those same woods. One article mentioned a hunter reporting sightings of a shadow man deep in the forests, carrying a chainsaw. He claimed to have seen him at dusk, his eyes glowing like hellfire. Most people dismissed it as a ghost story, but I knew better. I don't go back to Elma anymore. The few times I've driven through, I avoid that road, the one that leads to Chase's old house. But sometimes, late at night, when the world is quiet, I can still hear it burned into my memory, the faint buzz of a chainsaw. I often wonder if he's still out there, waiting in the woods, watching with those burning red eyes. So let me end with this. If you're ever in Elma, Washington, be cautious of entering the woods.